Chapter 1. Defining Style. What is written without effort is generally read without pleasure. Samuel Johnson. First, let me establish what I mean by style. I'm not talking about writing with flair, pizzazz, or a unique perspective. Those topics are more commonly what writers describe as voice. When we discuss style, we're talking about an approach to writing that improves the effectiveness of your work. In high school, you may have encountered the Elements of Style, a collection of generally sound, if occasionally eccentric, rules for writing. In this book, we're going to take that idea even further, establishing stylistic guidelines that work well in fiction. Any attempt to define rules or even guidelines for writing is readily susceptible to attack. This is an art, as well as a craft, after all. And how can art have rules? For any principle I pronounce, some smart English major can cite an example of a great writer who broke the rule and nonetheless produced memorable work. Still, some approaches are better and more likely to succeed than others. This book will suggest the stylistic techniques that are more likely to produce memorable fiction. Every writer should be aware that fictional style has evolved over time. I love Victorian novels, but the writers of that era could get away with more flowery language, more exacerbated descriptions, and more intrusive, omniscient meddling than writers today. The novel has only existed as an independent literary form for about 400 years. We owe much to Defoe, Fielding, and Richardson, but I wouldn't recommend that a contemporary novelist attempt to imitate their style. Over time, fictional style has been refined to something that most readers would agree is more immersive and immediate and easier to follow. In the post-Hemingway universe, a more direct form of storytelling is favored, both by critics and readers. Style is about the way we express ourselves when writing. Individuality and the writer. Perhaps some of you are railing against the idea that you can be told how to write. I am an artiste, you may be thinking, and my style is individual, so my only consideration is what's right for the work. I am not entirely unsympathetic to this view. One of the biggest mistakes a writer can make is imitating. Some writers I know go so far as to stop reading while they're writing, or at least to avoid reading anyone with an intrusive or distinctive voice. In this book, I won't suggest that you conform to some rigorous template, nor will I try to lock you in a creative cage. But there is a dominant style in use today, and while I can't force you to adopt it, I can say that your chances of success are seriously diminished if you do not. And that's not because great iconoclasts are always shunned. It's because readers like some stylistic approaches better than others. Specifically, readers tend to favor clean, readily accessible language that draws them into the story. My goal is to give you an effective, efficient framework in which you can unleash your individual voice. Don't let your writing get in the way of the story. Style is about writing to engage the reader's imagination. Style is about writing to immerse the reader in the story to such an extent that the reader forgets that authors, and their styles, exist. When readers tell their friends about a book they enjoyed, they go on and on about the characters and the tale told. Rarely does the average reader mention style. That doesn't mean style is unimportant, but it may mean that the best style is invisible rather than showy. And it almost certainly means that the most successful fictional style does not draw attention to itself, but rather draws attention to the characters and the story.